Being your authentic self is not an easy thing to do because since we are children, we have been taught to actually be in a way that we are not, to put it somehow. Now, the reason why is that is because we have grown up in a society, in a culture, in a some place, wherever you grew up in a specific culture or specific religion or specific family, and each family has their own costumes, their own traditions, their own ways of thinking, their own beliefs, to narrow it down to a family. Okay, but then you go into layers, and then you have the city where you grew up, or the place where you grew up, the town, then the country, then the whole culture, then the whole continent, and so on. So since we are very young, we are starting to collect all these different belief systems and believe things, believe believing things in general, right? Now, a lot of those beliefs have to do with who I am. And a lot of people get to their adulthood and they think they know who they are, and it turns out that they're just being the person that they were taught that they are, the person they believe they are. And it's just a set of belief systems that it might not be true, the true self, the truth of who they are, the truth of who they are, the essence, the person that you are here to be, free from conditioning, the, 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 all the masks, all the protective masks that we learn to build in society, in most societies, anyways. So this is what this masterclass coming this Saturday we are going into. Part of the results or the consequences of not being your authentic self, of course, is degrees to everything. There are degrees and everything. So the fact that you maybe, yes, I am being myself to a certain extent, but maybe I still have some areas that I don't feel safe enough to show, I don't feel secure enough to show, or I'm judging myself in those areas, that's why I'm not showing them. Which, by the way, that's why we don't show certain areas of ourselves, because we feel ashamed of it, or we feel afraid that we're gonna be judged by it, or we don't know how we're gonna be received, so we prefer to hide them. That's how it operates, that's how human beings operate in general. So the idea of this is to feel free and safe enough that you can be that self that wants to be, and feel okay with being vulnerable, feeling okay to be human. Of course, there is a time and space for everything, and that's what we want to go into in this masterclass, in a small class where we can talk about these things in a deeper way and have specific examples of, okay, how can I even start, or how can I address this insecurity better, and then bring self-love, unconditional self-love, to those parts. Then from there we build security, real inner security. And then from there we have better communication, because then we can communicate more honestly. And we're okay saying no when we feel to say no. And we're okay to say yes. And we're okay to say I don't know. All these different things, when we communicate, we can save so much energy and so much issues when we can communicate clearly and honestly. And a lot of the problems with communication is that it's not aligned with what we're thinking and feeling. And it's all because of this authentic self and the mask that we have learned to be, to show, to protect us. So to protect those vulnerable spots or those vulnerable areas in our lives. Some of the consequences of not being yourself, your true self, your authentic self, in different degrees are depression and anxiety, and especially social anxiety. It's a huge one because in the moment that you're not allowing those parts of you to be free, to express, to come out, what happens is that your body, yourself, is going to go into a depression, or it's going to cause anxiety. Either way, either way, it's gonna do it. It's going to be a result, because some area of you, some part of you, again in different degrees, this is important to have clear, in different degrees, because the same way that there's different degrees of anxiety, there's different degrees of depression. So in the same way, there's different degrees of being your authentic self or not being your authentic self. So being your authentic self is an ongoing journey your whole life. It's the same as loving yourself unconditionally and accepting yourself. It's an ongoing practice, because there are parts of you that you might not even know yet, or you might not even unlocked yet. But the idea is to be aware of it and learn tools for us to keep doing it and practicing it. So that's the different degrees that I'm talking about. So you might be very authentic in a specific area of your life, let's say with your family, or because you feel safe, or maybe not there, but maybe in your job, or maybe in your one-on-one relationships, or maybe in your couple relationships. But then in these other areas where you know that you're not feeling free or safe enough to show your true self. Now, another result of that, of course, is that you're not going to have very genuine or real friendships, because you can't. There can't be a real, genuine friendship when you're not being your true self. You're not being true. You're not being honest with who you are, what you like, what you don't like. You're not saying it. And for women specifically, we have been very trained, this is also conditioning, to not say things. We, specifically women, have been taught to just shut up a lot of the times. Just don't say it, just don't be disagreeable, don't be so difficult, and all these different things. So that causes a lot of problems at the end, and especially to you as a woman, because then you feel resentment that you didn't say something, then you feel anger, and it's all inside and stuck in there. And then anger is an emotion that is not acceptable in women either. More than for men. Men are okay to get angry, but women is not so much. So we tend to just swallow it, don't even express it, don't even allow ourselves to feel it. But that's a whole other story there. It's just an example of what happens when we are not allowing this energy to flow, which is our essence, our true self, which is who we came to be, really. What we came to be. Like, that's it. That's it. Because you being yourself is what's going to create your life. You, whoever you are, that's what is creating your life, and that's affecting everything in your life. You are the protagonist of your life. This is that's where I'm coming from. So everything is there, all the details where you can register. Again, it's a small class. I like keeping it that way, so we can answer, question, answer. I think we learn a lot by asking questions, and then other people can learn from the same question, etc. So all the information is there. Yeah, I hope to see you there, and thank you. Talk to you